Hi everyone. Today I'm going to explain American literature, a subject of IGNU University, Unit 1, the Puritan Contest. Here I am discuss the prehistory of the Puritan and a presence in New England. The Puritans were certainly not the first inhabitants, not even the first settlers from Europe in the American continent. Many a voyage of exploration and discovery, starting with that of Italian sailors Christopher Columbus. The Englishmen were resolutely engrossed in their inter-science conflict through these decades, and it was as late as 5084 that Sir Walter Raleigh dispatched an English ship to investigate if it was possible to colonize other islands. The next attempt took off in 1606, and in this instance, the energetic intruders decided to establish a settlement in Jamestown, Virginia, named after their Virgin Queen. The settlement, however, suffered so many disasters like homesickness, epidemics, death, a list of troubles. And the Red Indians of the region, instigated by their illustrious leader Powhatan, resented the coming of outsiders. They thought that the English is not good and their agricultural activities on English land needlessly exploiting their resources and exertions, and they were very savages to Englishmen. The English were especially savage in assault, especially because they were extremely dependent upon these people, who them despised and therefore determined to demonstrate an absolutely superiority over them. The American people doesn't like the new settlers, and so they are asking to return, and in order to punish the haughty tribe, the English would resort to mass massacre of its members. In to save the declining Virginia settlement, the Virginia Company, which had sponsored the settlement in the first place, soon realized that the colonists had to be given a personal interest in what they were doing. 1690, a legislative body allowed the Virginia settlers to own and cultivate the land, which transformed them from unimportant employees of an old company to significant citizens of a new country. And they experimentally planted tobacco crop in 1612, and that was such a huge profit from London. At last, Virginia appeared to be evolving into a prosperous settlement. The first settlers who came to Massachusetts thus in 1620 to found a dedicated community were the Pilgrims. 10 years later came the Great Puritans. After all these settlements, the Puritans came after 10 years. From England, followed by an astonishingly numerous rabble bringing thousands of settlers. Puritan settlement sprang up or to appear suddenly, like the places like Dorchester, Boston, Watertown, Roxbury, Mystic, and Lane. The Massachusetts Bay Colony was now fully launched, so these places, including the Massachusetts Bay. In 1639, certain towns had already adopted the fundamental orders of Connecticut as colony constitution. By 1662, a royal charter had been issued that authenticated Connecticut independent status, and they give independent status to Connecticut. The earlier settlement emerged in a New Hampshire in 1623. After endless debate between ambitious English agents and Massachusetts authorities, it became an autonomous territory of the crown, and the New Hampshire became an autonomous territory. The status of Maine, which had been settled in the 1630s, was troubled like until 1631 when it was made part of Massachusetts. So now the Massachusetts settlement is fully launched. At the end of century, New England as an entire region was named, was a flowering new enclave with the English Empire. The New England way of life was sharply polarized against the way of life the Virginians as well as similar materialistic inspired immigrants. The settlers totally changes the culture and their culture and the practice of the Americans, and New Englanders, on contrary, aimed at actualization of an idea. A city in Georgia, USA, like they considered themselves to be God's special missionaries on mission into wilderness and seeking to establish a Jerusalem nude. This is essence was a Puritan project in America, which means the Puritans consider themselves as an agent sent on mission to represent to interest of someone else. These are the short summary of the first unit introduction part, and thank you for listening.